There's an old saying in entertainment: sex sells. And Heated Rivalry's bed-breaking fame certainly makes the case. In just a few months, this small, queer hockey romance went from a cautious water-cooler whisper to something closer to internet psychosis. But sometimes sex is just the hook, and what comes after is something deeper. Because beneath the obsession, something quieter was happening.
Ever to come out as transgender did a cameo.
Conversations.
With those of us that are sort of a little bit more marginalized.
About identity.
Had a little bit more trouble in this industry.
About who gets to be seen.
People should be able to be whoever they want to be, to love whoever they want to love.
This is a show that's not about hockey. It's not about sex. It's about communication.
And that's the larger impact of this indie series. Not just its popularity, but the space it created for those conversations to unfold. So let's count down the ways this small Canadian production didn't just defy expectations, but reshaped the cultural conversations around it. Nothing about Heated Rivalry feels small. The lighting is deliberate. The cinematography controlled. The storytelling tight. Performances feel lived in and intimate. It plays less like episodic television and more like a tightly constructed film.
Did something here where we shot all 6 episodes in 36 days, block shot them like one giant movie.
The kind of production most viewers would assume came from a traditional studio system.
Our show was made in the Canadian system, and it is very different from the US.
Explain it for people who don't understand.
So basically, the Canadian film and TV system has subsidies and equity and grant systems that are propped up by the Canadian government.
Which brings us to the first shift this show sparked, the conversation around indie craft and human storytelling.
What was the total budget here?
So we were just under 3 million Canadian an episode.
Amazing. That's pretty low.
At a time when television budgets keep ballooning,
Arctic to the North Atlantic.
This series was produced modestly by today's streaming standards.
Are you done?
But this smaller Canadian production looks just as polished.
Money is creative. You can't afford everything, but we can afford this or this. You have to pick.
That's because showrunner Jacob Tierney had one rule: nothing should look low budget.
It turns problems into solutions.
I just feel that they're in our business, we need to change this mentality of endlessly shooting 15, 16-hour days, which is where the costs balloon.
With financing outside the traditional Hollywood system, full creative control.
There's a thing with TV, a lot of executives, it feels like they get paid by the note.
And no studio interference.
Most of the best executives that I know are the people that actually speak the least and that kind of trust in creators.
The limitations didn't dilute the work. They focused the story. And in the process, the show quietly exposes something the industry doesn't like to admit.
There's no reason to do, if you're doing 25 takes of a scene because you don't like the performance of the actor, the problem is the scene, it's not the actor. You haven't written it properly.
Bigger budgets don't automatically mean better storytelling. Excess is not what engages an audience.
What sort of backwards fucking pageantry is that?
Which raises an uncomfortable question. What exactly are all those larger budgets buying? For a small, independently financed series to reach this level of global attention, the story itself has to be strong enough to carry that weight.
But it started with a book. I didn't even know that, Jacob. You read the book. What did you see that you thought this could be something?
Everyone's looking for IP in Hollywood, right? What's an intellectual property that we can get? And romance is really underserved.
Which means looking back to the source and the genre it comes from.
We would be the only ones out there peddling a gay, steamy hockey romance.
Yeah.
Because the show's success didn't just create viewers, it also created new readers. Which brings us to the next conversation the show raised. After the adaptation aired, Rachel Reed's novels surged up bestseller lists for weeks. And an often dismissed romance genre suddenly entered the mainstream conversation.
It is turning into a pop culture phenomenon, and the craze is being felt here in Winnipeg. You know what I'm talking about, Crave's new TV show.
The snow is coming down heavily across our city, and I can think of no better excuse for New Yorkers to stay home, take a long nap, or take advantage of our public library's offer of free access to Heated Rivalry on ebook or audiobook for anyone with a library card.
hockey.
The city's libraries have 20 physical copies. Those have been checked out over 300 times since the start of the year, with a 140 name wait on the wait list.
A book can be a few years old, and then all of a sudden an announcement for a movie or TV series comes out, and there's usually an uptick in holds.
Rachel, congratulations on your hit of a book.
And I just want to start with, like, how has it been?
Surreal, I think, is the best word for it.
Mr. Speaker, today I rise to recognize Rachel Reed, a Canadian author and a constituent.
Reed herself moved from genre favorite to internationally recognized author.
Obviously, so many things have happened, things I didn't even dare to dream of have happened in the last few weeks.
Receiving public recognition.
3 of Rachel's novels, all from her Game Changers book series, have spent well over a month on the New York Times bestsellers list.
You never dream of this. This is beyond anything you could possibly hope to happen.
And appearing in spaces rarely associated with the romance genre. And that visibility matters.
This is a massive fan base that have not had their stories taken seriously, and they got to see it taken seriously, and they loved it.
For decades, romance publishing has been one of the most profitable genres of the book industry.
I think to Brendan's point, it's dismissed despite the fact that the romance genre carries the publishing industry in terms of fiction.
Right.
And I think it's dismissed because of the misogyny that we all endlessly live with, because it's something that appeals to women, is often written by women and consumed by women.
For decades, MLM romance existed largely on the margins of publishing, not because the audience wasn't there, but because the wider industry often dismissed its core readership of women and queer readers.
Is this something that you hope one day will happen, or it's just kind of like, well, if it does, cool, but that's not really the end game?
Yeah, for me, I didn't think it was a possibility at all. Like, I just thought the kinds of books I write just weren't really, like, filmable. They weren't anything anybody would consider filming.
The success of Heated Rivalry has started to challenge that assumption. The genre didn't suddenly gain weight. It always had it. Readers proved that long ago. What's changing now is how widely that strength is recognized and how far those stories travel beyond the audiences who built them, bringing new readers and viewers into a genre grounded in emotional connection.
I can't tell you how excited Montrealans are about this. We don't carry King in number 2. People are popping champagne all over Quebec. Oh, and just to be clear, we are thrilled that Shane is Asian or Asian Canadian. Very thrilled.
But the conversations sparked by Heated Rivalry didn't stop with the romance genre. Another quieter shift lives in Hudson Williams' performance as Shane.
Legendary franchise in hockey. Oh my.
I'm still in shock, but I'm so excited.
A character whose identity intersects in ways rarely centered on screen. Bringing us to the next conversation.
Oh, Mr. Hollander, what does Montreal have to do to win tonight?
Well, hockey is a complicated, nuanced game.
While Heated Rivalry may not be the definitive portrayal of Asian representation in sports or media,
no chance.
Its success has prompted something important. A wider conversation about both. Hockey has long been one of the least diverse professional sports in North America.
And so I grew up watching them and I wanted to be a part of that, but people asked them, what do you want to be when you grow up? I didn't know any better. I just said, I want to be a hockey commentator, right? But as I grew up, there was so many different situations where people would caution me and say, Partner Ryan, you got to be realistic. Nobody looks like you on TV.
You know, my love for the game was strong, and I had some good friends around me that, would always stand up for me or try to pick me up when I was down, confronting other players when, I had to leave the rink.
Asian players have appeared in the league's history, but they've remained rare. From pioneers like Larry Kwong to modern players like Nick Suzuki, Jason Robertson, and Devin Setaguchi, Asian representation in the sport has slowly grown. But those who do break through are often treated as tokenized exceptions rather than simply recognized for their athletic skills. And that same tension quietly lives inside Shane Hollander's character.
Moi, je suis ici pour l'équipe. Je suis ici pour gagner. Je m'en fous un peu de détails.
Et que penses-tu en comparaison à Tiger Woods et Serena Williams? Penses-tu partager les mêmes défis qu'eux, si on se comprend?
Je pense pas à des choses comme ça. Je suis super.
These moments are subtle, but they reflect a broader reality, where athletic achievements are often compartmentalized through race, often diminishing them beside those of their white peers.
I know, Mom.
Because you cannot be
But the conversation the show sparked isn't limited to just hockey. It also mirrors a broader issue of limited Asian representation and acting roles in media.
And remember what else this means.
I remember.
A whole lot of kids are going to be looking up to you. Kids that don't see themselves here a lot.
I get it, Mom.
My mom told me at one point, I told her I was going to be an actor. She said it scared her because she thought her being an Asian lady, that it would kind of limit my possibilities for roles I could get, because she hadn't really seen people like her on the screen.
For decades,
You do not know that I come from the great house of Wang.
You know, like you bring Hop-Sing sugar.
actors of Asian descent
Now, give me money.
have often been confined to background or supporting roles, often characterized through archetypes and tropes.
Now I'm back. Fuck you.
This has led to underrepresentation.
Price you pay for bringing up either my Chinese or American heritage as a negative is, I collect your fucking head.
Those of us that are, in sort of a little bit more marginalized and have had a little bit more trouble in this industry getting noticed, it's complicated. It's tricky. There have been times, complete transparency in my career, where I had to take a job because it didn't matter what the character was. I needed it because nothing had come along for a really long time.
Asian men in particular have long been underrepresented in leading roles, particularly in romance. In Western media, they are often reduced to emasculating or desexualized characters, rarely positioned as romantically desirable or even role models. But in Heated Rivalry, that positioning shifts.
And then when I booked a role, due to the fact there was a prerequisite that I am half Asian, I think it just kind of made her see that things are changing and there are new possibilities, so that really felt amazing. Yeah.
Hudson isn't just portraying a central character or an athlete in an underrepresented space, but a desirable romantic lead, which suggests a subtle shift in how Asian men are portrayed in media.
Will you marry me?
Maggie, I love you.
You're ready to spend the rest of your life with me?
Bringing up broader conversations about how that representation can go further. And like many of the conversations surrounding the show, that representation isn't singular.
This looks serious.
As Shane's character exists across multiple layers.
I think I'm gay.
But for many viewers, one of those layers might feel especially familiar, one that has sparked another conversation.
2 aces, 110, 1 5.
In film and television, neurodivergence and autism are often portrayed narrowly through a set of visible symptoms. And those symptoms are often treated as the defining aspect of a character.
No, you're...
What happened?
No, He lost and walked out mid-procedure.
Stigmatizing those on the spectrum. Because for many people,
I have autism. My dad's biggest regret is vaccinating me. That's a joke.
those traits aren't always outwardly visible.
Smart, like a genius, but they're a little different.
Are you asking me if I'm autistic?
Tina, I'll be right back.
With many able to mask their symptoms effectively.
Is this a social cue?
I have zero interest in food.
That's an interesting development.
Navigating life much like anyone else.
What's with you? Nothing. It's not suspicious that I'm fixating. It's consistent with my personality.
Just not always in a world designed for them.
Maybe he'll kick the ball. He has indeed, and apparently that deserves a round of applause.
And that's where Heated Rivalry takes a different approach.
From everything we've seen and heard, he may not be the most sociable, but this is the kid with the highest hockey IQ out there.
While Shane's autism is never mentioned on screen, his behavior and communication align with patterns often associated with high masking autism.
Would you be into that? Fuck yes, I would. Okay.
I feel like the show did a really good job of making Shane's autism more clear. And I think I give a lot of credit to both Jacob and Hudson for that, because they did an amazing job of bringing it to life.
And for many viewers, Shane's subtle traits have not gone unnoticed, turning that recognition into a broader conversation about how autism is portrayed authentically. Unlike many portrayals, Shane's autism shapes who he is without becoming a plot device or teaching moment. It simply exists, normalized, as part of his everyday experience, shaping how he engages in situations.
I feel pretty aligned with the fans because we want the same thing. And at this point, it's my job to take that personally.
Adapts, and connects socially.
Come for dinner. Jackie said it's cool. Oh, that's my wife.
Did you throw on some steaks?
I'm on a macrobiotic diet.
Buddy, I don't even know what that means.
Look at me.
And how he processes emotions.
Oh, fuck, this is fucking nightmare. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Don't marry Solana. Just don't. I know it wouldn't be for love or whatever. Just don't.
And most importantly, it shapes how he interacts and relates to Ilya.
We can figure something else out, okay? Okay.
Recognizing patterns in how Ilya communicates.
You think there is enough?
Such an asshole.
Hides his vulnerability.
Hey. I have an idea. For the next 2 weeks, let's just be honest with each other about what we actually think and maybe how we really feel.
And eventually how he expresses affection.
Because you like to be bad.
Hey, that's not what this is. You and me. Maybe it was at first, but not now and not for a long time.
I love you.
Holy shit.
I mean,
I love you too.
And within the world of professional sports and his identity as a half-Asian Canadian, those same patterns shape how he tries to conform to meet the pressures placed on him.
I think you can tell your parents you're gay without giving them a list of all the guys you're fucking.
I know. Anyways, it just doesn't really matter.
And ultimately how he comes to terms with his sexuality.
I have a feeling, and maybe I'm completely off base here, but I don't know, I feel like maybe you'd rather be kissing Miles.
This is why, for many viewers on the spectrum,
Mom, I need you to know that I did really try. I tried really hard, but I just can't help it. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you have nothing. Nothing to apologize for.
They may recognize themselves reflected in Shane's struggle to conform and mask parts of himself.
Why are you making so many burgers?
The recipe was for 8, so...
Okay, you cut it in half. What, you can't do math?
Leave me alone.
No.
This recognition of how the show portrays Shane's character.
You're good here. Your family is here. Your boyfriend is here. You're good here, okay?
Demonstrates a refreshing form of acceptance.
My boyfriend?
I mean, yes. I think so, probably.
Where autistic people simply exist, thrive, and are loved exactly as they are. And as we look at the conversations Heated Rivalry has sparked, we can see how that recognition begins to take shape. For some, it appears in an appreciation for the craft of the story, or in their attachment to the romance genre itself.
I love the book. I became a fan right away. It was one of the first romance books that I read, and I just really liked it. Rachel's a great writer.
For others, it's found in how they see themselves represented in the characters.
But it's so funny because I'm listening to the dialogue, I go, I wish somebody would say that to me. Right.
But at the center of all of it lies the same impulse: finding connection. And that connection can be a powerful force in creating fandoms.
I think getting into these really niche, specific human experiences actually really give you a chance to open up and let people connect.
When audiences see parts of themselves reflected in a character, that connection can deepen in unexpected ways. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as a parasocial relationship, one-sided emotional bonds audiences form with fictional characters and the people who portray them.
There's something about this show that I think is changing perception.
In most cases, those relationships are inherently harmless, even meaningful.
And we finally have these magical moments in stories like this. It's such a positive reflection of what our society can be.
It's Hudson. I just wanted to say thank you for watching our show and sharing your kind words you had for it. It really means a lot that our show could even play a little small part in a sort of positive thing about your life. And thank you for your bravery and just sounding like a really cool guy.
Wow.
They can provide people comfort, inspiration, and even a sense of belonging.
I'm Polynesian, and so I aligned a lot with that aspect and like visibility of queer AAPI members.
But when a story resonates as strongly as Heated Rivalry has, sometimes that connection can grow especially intense and into something unhealthy, which brings us to one of the more uncomfortable conversations that has sprung up.
Okay, everybody, so we are at High Tops right now, and we're about to surprise them at trivia. And we're nervous that they won't be excited and they won't even recognize us.
One of the unexpected consequences of the show's success has been the level of attention placed on its actors.
Is it sinking in how big this show is?
Oh, no. It's all very just like, I kind of just turn into a deer in headlights every time.
Really?
These freaks outside.
Alrighty, ladies, let's see what we got going on.
Seeing how Heated Rivalry has become a mass psychosis event, and I don't want to be a witness to that. I can't.
In many ways, this mirrors the story itself and the public expectations placed on them.
You will murder me. It's for vegetables.
Almost immediately, the actors found themselves facing a version of that same reality. Their sudden rise to prominence has showcased their talent and launched their careers. But some of that attention has crossed clear lines.
I think I've seen a lot of talk online about my own sexuality and that of members of my family as well. And some stuff's stated as fact and some stuff is speculated.
Treating the actors as extensions of their fictional characters.
Maybe not nefarious, but it's not sweet and it's not fully welcomed. It doesn't make us feel safe.
Collapsing the boundary between performance, fandom, and privacy.
Francois, are you single these days?
None of your business.
You know, this segment of the fandom that had become toxic and saying horrible things about my actors and about characters and demanding I do things to either denounce or stand up for some imaginary fucking Twitter fight that I'm like, I'm not here for this. I'm not participating, I'm not paying attention.
And at times, it has gone even further, into harassment, bigotry, and threats directed at the very people who helped bring these characters to life.
Heated Rivalry stars Hudson Williams and Francois Arnault taking to social media to shut down online hate.
That isn't admiration. It's an unacceptably harmful and dangerous behavior.
The duo posting a joint statement saying, quote, "Don't call yourself a fan if you share racist, homophobic, biphobic, misogynistic, ageist, ableist, parasocial, bigoted comments of any kind. None of us need your hateful love."
At the same time, it's important to separate those moments from the healthier side of fandom, the part built on respect.
It's not just a show that people are plugging into because you get to see these beautiful men, right? It's because it's love.
I love that Heated Rivalry is a common conversation, and it's just taken the world by storm, which is really cool.
The vast majority of the community has been thoughtful and supportive, gratefully celebrating the work and the people behind it.
The GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding New TV Series goes to Heated Rivalry.
They're such brilliant actors, and the direction, Jacob Tierney does not get, he gets great props, but he is a phenomenal talent.
The GLAAD, this is an incredible honor.
Because at its best, when underserved audiences feel seen by a story, they don't just watch it, they see part of themselves in it.
Thank you, Jacob Tierney, for this incredible gift. This giant tsunami of joy that you've brought onto my life and onto so many other people's lives. Thank you for believing that for something to be universal, it needs to be specific and personal, and for teaching the world that lesson.
Our shared references, our collective memories remind us that we are all part of something bigger.
I felt really seen in many ways. Not being able to be my authentic self for so long, not feeling like I had a safe place to belong in the game that I so deeply loved.
which points to a deeper yearning for stories and for role models, both on and off screen, that feel authentic.
And I understand that you've had complicated feelings around hockey culture. Can you tell me about the feelings that you work through?
It's definitely given me a place to work out my feelings about toxic masculinity in general, about the kind of conformity that gets forced on a lot of men. There's like a blueprint for masculinity that I think really comes from hockey.
And that kind of hunger points toward another visible space in culture. Bringing us to our final conversation.
This is our fucking cup! Fucking fuck San Francisco!
Professional sports culture, particularly hockey, has long been shaped by narrow ideas of masculinity, conformity, and who gets to be seen as a role model.
I can pick out a hockey player anywhere I go. School, a mall, you name it. They dress the same, talk the same, walk the same, because they spend so much time in that bubble.
It's like a stoicism. It's like an emotional repression. It's not talking about things like mental health. It's there's a lot of misogyny. There's a lot of homophobia. And all of those things sort of shape the idea of what men should be like.
I adhered to the stereotypes and tropes of the culture. I'm ashamed to admit today, but I was a womanizing hockey bro. I acted cocky. I walked into a room like I was a gift.
In many ways, the response to Heated Rivalry reflects larger conversations about the realities surrounding hockey and a hypermasculine culture. A culture where difference is often pushed to the margins.
I think everyone can kind of see this in our game. If you just look around in an NHL locker room, there's not a lot of color.
Emotional honesty is mistaken for weakness.
When you're singularly focused on a goal, it's kind of scary what you'll accept to try and achieve that goal.
And players are often treated merely as assets and not as fully realized people.
They like you to be a good little soldier and to do what they say. And if there's pushback or questions, you won't succeed.
Part of that conversation centers on queer visibility and inclusion in the sport.
Matt Kenny, who played competitive hockey while growing up in Ontario, he also had a secret relationship with another player.
Watching the show when I hit play, it within 15 to 20 minutes, it didn't feel like fiction to me. What was kind of playing out on the screen was like holding a mirror to my own life and what I had endured and experienced in a relationship with another player for the better part of a year. The secrecy and the shame and the love and the fear, and knowing that if anyone ever found out that it would ruin lives, it could ruin any future in hockey.
In Metro Vancouver, queer hockey players have a place to play and be themselves. The president of the Cutting Edges, an LGBTQ2+ hockey association, says the new TV series Heated Rivalry has hit close to home.
I think it's a representation that a lot of us kind of hoped for when we were younger and playing sports and playing hockey.
For decades, professional hockey has faced criticism for hostile policies or attitudes toward LGBT people within the sport.
Hockey is a very homophobic place. I mean, it's the culture of a dressing room is there's words used that are demeaning towards the LGBTQ community.
Now, being physically transitioned and moving away from the women's hockey space, I found myself afraid to switch to the men's side. I found myself afraid to go into locker rooms, into beer league, and not really knowing where I fit in. And giving my life to hockey, playing professionally, playing for 16 years, and suddenly not feeling like I have a place in the sport, it was really tough to reckon with, and I'm still reckoning with it today.
And the sport has often faced criticism for environments where homophobia was minimized, ignored, or treated as part of the culture.
Controversy is once again plaguing hockey, this time involving a handful of NHL players refusing to wear Pride-themed jerseys during dedicated NHL Pride game nights.
Homophobic slurs and, language needs to change in hockey.
Minutes on the ice, Arizona Coyotes defenseman Travis Dermott helped defeat the Anaheim Ducks and set a precedent. The first NHL player to openly defy the league's ban on Pride tape.
At times, that tension has felt visible when queer inclusion was marketed or promoted more than it was meaningfully addressed.
And so I just hope that the league that is now using the show for tweets and Instagram posts and selling tickets, that actually follows through.
You know, the NHL's tagline is hockey is for everyone. And I think this is the perfect time for them to actually walk that walk. I would ask leadership to just start with a message, tell players they're allowed to step on the ice as they are, but then make sure the space and the environment is safe for them to do so. That's the issue we're facing now is sure, you want people to be their authentic self, but the environment surrounding them isn't safe or supportive.
But these conversations reach far beyond sexuality alone. Former players and current athletes have spoken more openly about the emotional isolation, mental strain, and pressures carried within the sport.
Where the cup starts to overflow. For me, that was the game against Toronto, where I was having panic attacks, not attacks, but seriously having anxiety problems and panic.
If they didn't know, I'd go home to my billet's house when I was in the OHL and I'd cry. I hated myself, frankly. I didn't know if I wanted to live. And I self-harmed and struggled immensely.
In environments where toughness is celebrated and vulnerability has no space, silence often takes its place.
And if you talk, and if you talk too much in the hockey world and you ask too many questions, they don't like that.
And when silence becomes the norm, harmful behavior within the sport can be minimized, excused, or left unchallenged.
What myself and 11 of us had to endure that year was daily abuse.
Tonight at 6, a former NHL star and Livonia native is facing sex crime charges in Oakland County.
It's been 35 years, but one night still casts a long shadow over the former player's life. Face to face with Bernie Lynch for the first time in decades, he told a Regina courtroom how his hockey dreams fell apart after an alleged sexual assault at the age of 17.
We need to create environments where teammates and men in specific feel safe kind of raising their hand and saying, I'm not feeling okay, without fear of being considered weak. And I think what this show did was show that real emotional reaction of men trying to figure out how to exist in this hypermasculine environment and yet still, have this tender soft side as well.
While the first season of Heated Rivalry only hints at that emotional cost, it helped bring attention to the need for change within such a culture. And in that shift, the show and the people behind it came to represent something different.
What is it you think it is about this show that's made it take off so quickly?
I think it's seeing men being emotionally vulnerable, which we just don't get to see very often.
A masculinity built on the strength of vulnerability.
It was something I was always kind of adamant that no matter what people think or want to infer, I'm always going to just physically express my love.
Connection.
I genuinely believe that you are part of my soul family.
I wish I was on the same page.
I didn't have to shut up. That's not true. You know that this is real.
And emotional honesty.
Acting was always something kind of intimate for me.
I just hope that people, no matter what you think you need to be in life, or what is expected of you, just be yourself, even if that breaks some sort of boundary, even if there's not a word for it, even if there's not space for that in whatever, realm you live in. Just be that.
Bringing attention to the spaces and the people already doing that work.
Jesse Cordum says he's coming out to the world because of Heated Rivalry.
I know there's a lot of people out there that parents aren't accepting them, and I'm hoping to lend that voice to help those kids that are hurting to be themselves.
It really hit me that, my inbox is strange around the internet. That was a safer place for some of these people to bring their truth than, let's say, the locker room or their teams or their families. It showed me how many people really do think that they are the only ones, and that isolation that takes hold. And it's kind of what made me realize that I couldn't stay quiet anymore.
Big question now is if Heated Rivalry will make it easier for players to come out. And if you've been paying attention, maybe you've noticed the ice is already starting to crack.
Because for many viewers, Heated Rivalry didn't just offer romance.
Guess is an avid hockey fan, but when she started going to games, she realized there weren't a lot of people in the crowd who looked like her. So she started looking for a community she could build. The result, Black Girl Hockey Club.
We have our flagship program is our scholarship program. So over the last 6 years, we've given over $167,000 worth of scholarships to
I think whatever we can do to encourage people from diverse backgrounds to go and play, I just think that's beautiful.
It opened a conversation.
Well, Heated Rivalry has been recognized with a Peabody Award.
The award was for promoting a non-toxic side of masculinity.
One that challenges a culture.
And made arguably the biggest cultural impact in television.
Helping change the game, redefining what it means to be a tough guy, and moving toward a more common goal of what a role model can be. Across every part of the show's rise, the same truth kept surfacing.
The representation of like a character that a lot of people relate with, whether they feel like him or they feel like they knew him.
People are looking for connection.
That element is really beautiful, and I didn't know if it would connect. You only hope.
For communication.
Thank you for sparking the conversations.
For something genuine in spaces often shaped by silence or exclusion.
It's Robbie GK here. You might recognize me from Kip from the show Heated Rivalry. I am clearly here at the Canucks game for Pride Night. Very happy to be here and support this great
and maybe that's why these conversations matter.
I think that we're just trying to put out joy and kindness here and let them take from that whatever they would like.
And why they should continue. Because in the end, this was never just about a show. It was a glimpse into what we all might yearn for, and how the most personal stories are often the ones that make us feel understood.
No, you don't get to come back. Crying over the love that you had. Maybe next try, maybe next time you'll hold on to what you have. No, you don't get to show up. Teary-eyed saying I'm all you want. Maybe next try, maybe next time you won't sleep on a good love. Keep on talking, but I'm already gone. You had your shot, but you went about it all wrong. Tried to pull you in close, eyes were locked on your phone. Now you're sour, cause I'm moving on. Oh, you're showing up at my door, holding your heart there inside your hands. Baby, I could have been all yours, but you're out of chances. No, you don't get to come back. Crying over the love that you had. Maybe next try, maybe next time you'll hold on to what you have. No, you don't get to show up. Teary-eyed saying I'm all you want. Maybe next try, maybe next time you won't sleep on a good love. You won't sleep on a good love. You won't sleep on a good love.
Thank you guys, everyone, for making this like the coolest experience of a lifetime. I hope that we all get to do this again.
We will.